3, 2, 1.
And let's face it, you might be wanting to read Jeff Booth's book. It's actually not really a Bitcoin book per se. All right, so let's start with the big idea that comes out of this book. Here's what could happen in the future book. And Bitcoin is a part of it.
If you can't go as far as Jeff Booth's future, you can go far enough for yourself. Welcome to another episode of Sat Chat Short Stacks. By the end of today's episode, you're going to either figure out if you want to read this book that Stewart has reviewed for me, and it is Jeff Booth's Price of Tomorrow, or you're going to thank Stewart for reading this book that he's going to review for me and move on to the next video.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Anna Bevan.
And I'm your co-host, Stewart. And let's face it, you might be wanting to read Jeff Booth's book. It's a pretty big book in the Bitcoin community, or you might be like, it's 2025. I ain't got time for that because I'm too busy spending time on my phone. So I'm going to watch this video. I'm going to get the juice from it, and I'm going to go, all right, that's cool. And then you're going to move on to the next one, right?
Right. And as we've established, my preferred way of collecting information is through listening.
It's the listening.
You listened to this.
I did listen, yeah. And just, for the proof of work, I got my Audible, which has really opened up like the amount of books that I can consume because, I drive. And
books become podcasts.
Yeah, because the podcasts are, I want to listen to Bitcoin podcasts, but, once you're all caught up on today's headlines and tomorrow's price predictions, you only really have Sat Chats. And since I'm in Sat Chats and I already know what's going on inside the episode, I want something else, and it's audiobooks. So here's the price of tomorrow. I'll put it up on the screen here for you. See, I did in fact listen to this book. So I have some thoughts, okay?
Hit me.
All right, so let's start with the big idea that comes out of this book. It's actually not really a Bitcoin book per se. It's not a Bitcoin book the same way the Bitcoin Standard is a book about Bitcoin, or Mastering Bitcoin is about Bitcoin, which I'm legitimately reading in textbook format, or the Genesis book is about Bitcoin, and that short stack's coming up soon. That book is insane. This is more like a here's what could happen in the future book, and Bitcoin is a part of it. But I kind of walked away from the Price of Tomorrow feeling like Jeff Booth's main message was that we often will attempt to predict the future by like extrapolating from what's going on right now, and that just is never the case.
Okay. Say more.
Think about steampunk literature comes to us from this idea that the Victorian age and its customs, its inventions would extend and grow into the future until you have all these blimps and cars and trains that are all steam powered.
Okay.
But then other inventions came along, and we don't live in a steampunk world right now. The combustion engine came out, and it's okay, we don't need steam locomotion. You know what I mean? Cars are here. We don't need trains because now we have cars, right? Here's another really good example, Abes. In the 16th century, early 16th century, there was an English author who tried to think about what the future would be like based on his experiences today. And he wrote a book where humans traveled to the moon. This was 1511. It was 1511 this guy in England was writing a book. Now, based on his conditions and the world that he could see at that time, who do you think he placed on the moon in his book? This is going to blow y'all's mind.
I don't know.
When you think about an Englishman from 1511, take a guess.
Royalty?
The Spanish. The Spanish! Because what he could see from his present moment in England was that Spain was exploring the world. They had hit a ton of gold
Oh, that's
in
fascinating.
Central America and South America. They were a superpower because the impact of cutting down all of their trees to make ships hadn't the short-term thinking hadn't caught up with them yet. And he thought, man, it's only a matter of time before Spain takes over the world and then the moon.
Oh, that's really funny.
Right? But then Spain wrecked all of its timber on the rocky coast of England, and they literally have not recovered since. They have not recovered in like 500 years. So Jeff Booth is trying to say, hey guys, it's so easy for humanity to say, based on the current conditions, here's what we think is going to happen. That ain't it. Something is going to come out of left field and absolutely uppercut the thing that you know to be true at this time. Which means that if you're extrapolating a world where we continue to use garbage money that comes out of the government, you're going to be shocked when Bitcoin comes and just, bam, changes everything out of nowhere.
So he's saying that Bitcoin is the thing that's going to uppercut us.
It was one of the examples.
Okay.
So the main idea here is that we often cannot see the future because we extrapolate it from the present moment, and that's never the case. Something comes out of nowhere, it changes everything. Okay. Let's jump into some of the examples that he gave. And these were the two examples that really stood out to me that were super interesting, okay?
This is going to be funny.
The first one was about cars. It's about cars.
Ooh.
So
Self-driving or flying?
self-driving,
Okay.
and able to be summoned anywhere at any time by anybody,
Yes.
right? So he talked about how in today's world, individual privately owned cars are only used 5% of the time. So if you're like my good buddy who recently bought a $215,000 Mercedes G-Wagon, he returned it because he didn't like driving it. But if he had bought it for real and kept it, $215,000 for something you're only going to use 1 out of every 20 minutes of your life. Bro, we should be scooping up jalopies.
Okay, so is the time that short because we just use cars less on an individual basis, or because we work from home more often?
This book was written in 2017, which is important to remember.
Okay.
There was no pandemic when Jeff Booth wrote this. So in a pre-pandemic, people using their cars like, whoa, it was only 5% of the time. And quite frankly, me today, I drive 10 minutes to the studio. I drive 10 minutes home. That's all the driving I do.
Yeah, I there are times where I don't even leave my house. Yeah.
Right? So he also pointed out that, okay, we also have massive amounts of parking lots. When you think about the amount of parking lots that are in today's American cities, the infrastructure that we have built to accommodate a technology we're only using 5% of the time, the waste in that system is astronomical. Astronomical. But if we can achieve self-driving cars and we can summon them on command, then the number of cars you need theoretically should be divided by 20. Right? And the amount of parking spaces you need goes down to 0, basically, because you would simply summon a car at your house, go where you're going, get dropped off. The car goes somewhere else to be utilized. You summon a different car when your time at the DPAC is over, and it drops you back off at your house.
Okay, so my first gut reaction is, but man, I love my car because it has like my stamp of Anna Bevan in it. And then I was thinking about the short stack we did on do you actually own anything? And I used to think that way about my music. Like it was mine. I loved holding it. I loved the CDs. I loved that I could buy songs from iTunes and they were mine forever unless I lost my iTunes account.
Bruh.
But that could never be me. And
by the way, look at us using Gen Z slang up in here like we know something, guys. We're millennials. Stop playing. Imagine. That's another one. So you used to like that idea, but then what?
But now I've gotten so used to loving the fact that I don't have to carry around my music.
I mean, somebody 100 years ago was like, okay, I guess I could get sticks of butter at the store, but I just, the butter I churn just has my stamp on it. It's like, get over yourself. Nobody's going to churn their own butter.
So
Just go get some butter whenever you want.
I had a car, a Pontiac Vibe. I freaking loved this car.
Dang.
I loved it. And so it was just so small and cute and little, and I drove stick shift. It was adorable.
Oh.
Anywho, every time I would go into the parking lot of where I used to work, the CDs that were on the top in like the rack that would like hold CDs, remember that thing that would like file
on
them
the
in
visor.
there? Yes. The CD file on the visor.
Hot.
All my CDs would fall out.
Every time?
Single time.
Was it a problem with your Pontiac Vibe or a problem with your CD visor?
It was a combination of that was an old CD visor.
Yeah.
And the fact that the car, like the turn, like really jolt the car because it was unlevel and my car was really small.
Yeah.
And so, sometimes you feel the bumps a little bit more. You would know this in the Fiat.
Yeah, okay.
And it made me laugh every single time. And now I'm just thinking about how I loved those CDs because I got to make my own mix and all of that. But now if I don't like the concept of not having my own music doesn't bother me because I still get to enjoy it for its utility and its purpose and make unlimited playlists beyond the songs that I have.
Right.
So I could have unlimited cars.
Right.
And I feel like that is a little easier to grasp because of ride sharing.
So there you go, right? I mean, the idea is you have a moment where you're like, yeah, but I like this, but then you get used to the new thing and you're all good, right? So that was really interesting to hear about like how cars could become way more efficient. And if you extrapolate from today's world, individual car ownership will skyrocket. They'll always be adding more lanes to the highways. They'll be tearing up the beltways and making more parking lots. But Jeff Booth's like, yeah, but what happens if somebody finally unlocks technology and then bam, private cars turn into auto taxis that just solve crazy, right? Here's another example he gave. Solar panels.
Ugh.
Okay. And I knew you were going to react that way to solar panels. Because what's your idea about solar panels? How do you feel about solar panels?
Solar energy continues to be subsidized and not actually produce enough. And we just keep throwing money at it. And maybe the fledgling of like the 70s will decide to catch on and make money.
Yeah. So Anna Bevan, she's hashtag no solar. Anna Bevan, what she likes to do...
I'm for least cost energy.
She takes that can of hairspray, she just does it in the air, and she's like, I hope the ozone layer gets freaking huge today. Anna Bevan, oh my God. So
I mean, like, I do have like 6 or 7 like aerosol cans.
Where's my nephew at? She said 6, 7, y'all. That's another one. 6, 7. You were there with
yes,
okay.
9/11.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
9/11 is one too?
Oh yeah,
that's
6, 7,
too soon,
9/11.
bro. That's too soon, dog.
Too soon.
Oh my God, you can't do 9/11.
But it's
Who's
after
doing 9/11?
It's after 6, 7. 6,
Oh my
7, 9/11.
Yo,
it's
that...
the song.
Okay.
The the ringle, if you will.
The ringle, yes.
The ringle.
All right. So let's go back to the cars for a second.
Let's do.
Right. What about this where you had to go around and you had to like crank the engine? And you're like, somebody could look at that and be like, dude, that's a piece of garbage that's never going to catch on. Nobody's ever going to stinks. It's no good.
It's just faster horses.
But then 100 years later, bam, you could have these automatic taxis that are ripping, right? Now, solar panel, the original panels came out like in the 70s or even earlier when somebody discovered that you could convert sunlight into energy.
Yeah.
Okay. And to your point, I've seen solar panels struggle, and it's like, dude, well, are these even any good, or are they just pouring a bunch of money into a technology that's never gonna, pan out?
Well, they receive a lot of government subsidies.
Yeah, and we're not a fan of government subsidies.
And so
no matter
I
what.
think that's my greatest beef. Like, I don't. If someone wants to go off and figure out how solar energy works and utilize it, power their own home, totally fine with that. My problem is that the government is putting rules and forcing businesses to adopt things that are just not cost efficient.
Okay. So check this out. Jeff Booth believes that someone will come along and actually figure this out for good. And it will completely change the energy game here on Earth. Okay? He pointed out that if you take the entirety of the energy that we use as the human race in 1 year.
Okay.
I'm talking about all the energy we produce with water, all the energy we produce with wind, all the energy we produce with coal, all the energy we produce with nuclear facilities, all the energy we produce by digging up plant matter from the dinosaur age and lighting it on fire. You name it, okay? The entirety of the energy that all of humans use in a whole year, the sun hits the earth with more energy than that in 2 hours.
I mean, I believe that's why people are really into solar energy.
What? 2 hours for an entire year worth of energy? If somebody could figure out a solar panel that is like the absolute bomb.com, you could probably retrofit cars to connect to a solar panel that's like the size of your smartphone. You clap it on the top, drop, it's over.
Oh
It's
yeah.
over.
Oh yeah.
It's
I mean,
over.
I'm not denying that's cool.
Yeah, that's insane. 2 hours.
That's so cool, especially with as much as we've been talking about mining and how energy is a use it or lose it scenario. And so if it can be a more efficient energy source,
yes,
and we can capture it accurately or efficiently, I'm game.
I mean, think about somebody's like, oh yeah, I plugged my miner into the wall. Oh, I plugged my miner into a waterfall. Oh, I plugged my miner into a volcano. Oh, I plugged my miner into a hydrogen bomb called the Star in outer space. Let's go. I would be mining Bitcoin like crazy.
Oh yeah.
So, but it's hard for us to see that because you're like, hey, this technology's been struggling. It's heavily subsidized. It doesn't seem to be panning out. But the moment it pans out, it is over for all other forms of energy because the sun is the greatest source of energy that we have. It's just how do we freaking tap into this dang thing?
Well, it even energizes people.
Yeah, there you go.
Like we need sun. We need sunlight.
You wouldn't know that looking at Anna Bevan, but we need sunlight. Yo, Zara just...
She lost it in the back.
Yeah, she did. I got her. I got you, Zara.
I firmly believe, Reg, that was for you. Edmund, that was also for you.
Yeah.
All the shade I get for being in the shade.
Literally. She gets a lot of shade. So those were two examples that stood out to me where it was like, whoa, Jeff Booth is visualizing a world that is different from the one that we're in right now. You know, he's not in England in 1511 visualizing the Spanish getting to the moon. He's realizing that a new country will be discovered, a new nation will be born, a different sort of people will make it to the moon, and it's not what you would expect. And it's like, whoa, this is kind of mind-blowing. For people who are new to Jeff Booth, when he goes through his ideas about how technology is deflationary and basically leads to a world where eventually everything is free, that will also blow your mind. It's not really part of my review of The Price of Tomorrow because I already picked up that information from Jeff Booth in one of his podcast episodes with Natalie Brunell on Coin Stories.
He also has been on Sat Chats, number 62, Jeff Booth.
Yes, but he went even beyond that to a new thing that he's talking about, which is even more insane. So it was a really interesting book from that perspective because it gave me an opportunity to go, whoa, that's crazy to think about. You know, things are going to move along until something comes along and completely changes it. Like someone is going to find an animal on Earth that loves to eat plastic and turn it into something else that isn't as harmful. And then it's game over for all the plastic on Earth.
Okay, so...
That's not in his book, by the way. That's just me talking.
Yeah. So thinking and reading what he said and thinking through some of the things that he presented, what are some things that you feel have been entrenched in you that maybe could be disrupted? Like things that you're just like guaranteeing or like it'll just be a faster horse.
Yeah, I mean, cars and energy, namely, right? Those are the two things that stand out to me. I mean, I can't remember any of the other examples that he put out there. Those were the two that made me like, oh, shoot, I need to take a note for the short stack about that. Because I feel like cars are a big problem, and I'm more on the side of like maglev trains between major metropolitan cities.
Yeah, but if somebody comes in and disrupts the whole everyone individually buying cars, the government's going to bail out car companies.
Yeah.
Like,
so
it's got to be some sort of gradual move in that direction because like that.
So great segue, by the way, because after he walks you through the fact that technology is deflationary, everything should be getting cheaper all the time, but it isn't. That's because the government's money system is messing everything up. But don't you worry, things come along that absolutely destroy the old way and create a new one you couldn't see, such as cars becoming more efficient, solar panels coming in there, and money, Bitcoin coming in and being like, it's Bitcoin. He talks about game theory near the end of the book.
Okay.
Game theory is basically, if you watch MrBeast's Beast games on Amazon Prime, you will get a master class in game theory, okay? Some people like MrBeast, some people don't. My brother doesn't. Number 2, Jorma, doesn't like MrBeast.
Really?
I love MrBeast.
I think you love him enough for both of you.
Probably.
Yeah.
And my kids are like, do you want to watch some MrBeast for research for your channel? Because they know how to get me. And I'm like, let's do it, y'all. And then we just watch YouTube, and they're getting what they want. So,
yes, I'll increase those hours.
The very first episode of Beast Games on Amazon Prime, he separates all the people into 4 groups. Okay? He has each group select a leader. They each select a leader. The 4 leaders go up to the top of this massive structure, and there's a huge screen. There's 4 buttons in front of each of the 4 people. And they say, okay, everybody, we're going to start adding numbers to the screen behind you until we reach $1 million. Okay? Oof. It's going to go up slowly, then it's going to go faster, then faster and faster. Okay? The first one of you to hit the button will get the money on the screen. But everybody in your group who has trusted you to be their leader is eliminated from the game. But you stay in the game. So you have an opportunity to hit the button and walk away with $250K or $500K or even $1 million and stay in the game, but everyone that trusted you is eliminated from the game. If someone up here next to you hits the button before you do, they get the money and you don't.
Are they just standing there waiting to hit the button?
They're standing there like this, and the money's going up behind them. If they hit the button too soon, they'll walk away with less money than they could have if they try to make it go higher and higher and higher.
Okay.
But if they don't hit it soon enough, someone might hit it and get the money and you get nothing. Right? But no one wants to hit the button because they've been chosen as leaders. And if they hit the button and eliminate 25% of the players and then are mixed back into the players with a whole bunch of cash that everybody could see, every player is going to work as hard as they can to destroy that player and get them out of the game for betraying the group that they were supposed to be the leader of.
Yeah, there's a lot happening there.
It is. You can't not watch that. That show doesn't even get to advertise exactly what happens at the end of the show because of how they frame it up in the beginning. And it is insane because at the end of the show, you're like, oh my goodness. Everybody should watch that thing.
How long are the episodes?
Maybe an hour a pop, and I think there's like 10 of them.
Oh, okay.
It's so good. Anyways, that's an example of game theory. Two people are in a game. These are the rules of the game. If you play the game honestly, you could potentially win, in this situation, the respect of your teammates for not destroying their chances of winning the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then they might team up with you more. They might help you more. They might sacrifice themselves later for you, yada, yada. You could also basically play the game unfairly by being like, I don't care, bam, and hitting the button, destroying these people, walking away with your cash, and you don't care if you get blown up later. You know, you could play it honestly by letting it go up until it hits a number and then hitting the button. You could watch to see if anybody's going to hit the button, and then you hit the button first, right? So Jeff Booth goes into this like game theory of playing the game honestly, cheating, playing it honestly, then cheating, playing it honestly until the first person cheats, then you cheat, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The point of the story here is that he shows you why it's going to be difficult to replace current systems that are profitable. All the car manufacturers who are making money off of how inefficient cars are going to fight tooth and nail for a super logical advancement in the form of self-driving cars that can be summoned at any time by anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And by the way, if these cars can be summoned anywhere, anytime, and have a solar panel on them that can absorb a year's worth of energy in 2 hours, then your only limiting factor is the wear and tear on the car itself. And these super insanely costly Ubers, where they're totally gaming down to the penny how much they think they can charge you.
Yes.
It turns into like a dime for me to get from my house to the studio and a dime to go back. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Wow.
Right? So the game theory is, well, it's more profitable for the car industry to cheat.
Yes.
Than to go, you know what, guys? It's been great. We're really happy and that we could get humanity through the individual privately combusted engine phase of our history. And now, you know, we're going to work with companies to turn our cars into... They're not going to do that. Like, gas companies are like, but we want to... Why would we help with a solar panel when it's more profitable for us to dig up old plant material and light it on fire?
Yeah, and then it goes even deeper than that, because then you have states that are basically vying for new car factories to be built, or car manufacturers to be built, and they're being subsidized based on the number of jobs that are predicted to come into that state, which impacts state rankings for like business friendliness or like jobs at a certain pay level. Yeah, like it just keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper, and it's like built around subsidized industry.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's messy.
Yeah, it's not just one person taking a chance and being like, hey, I'm Elon Musk and I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to build a self-driving vehicle. No, it's got to be like an entire group of people who decide to get together like the light bulbs and be like, hey, what if we wanted to create something that was more efficient?
So enter Bitcoin, right? Because how do you overcome entrenched systems? Well, with Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin takes the entirety of the world and says, you know what? Now the world must follow this set of rules.
Mm-hmm.
Can anyone break the rules? No, they cannot. Is there any real game theory inside of Bitcoin? No. You just add value to humanity, earn Satoshis in response, rinse and repeat.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically eliminate the humanity out of trying to replace entrenched, inefficient systems with more efficient, futuristic ones. You just give it over to Bitcoin.
And so when you say humanity, do you mean like self-interested?
Yeah, I mean,
like corruption?
And there may not be, there definitely is that, but like what happens if my job depends on not understanding the way of the future? I'm never going to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
If my job depends on not realizing that cars could become incredibly more efficient, I'm not going to do anything about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to be a sales rep and sell the car.
Yeah.
So, there may not be corruption, but there's definitely humans that are like, hey, man, I don't want that because that could threaten my job, right? So he also talks about creative destruction in the book where like
love creative destruction.
You destroy the old thing, but you create the new one. And, I mean, I'm sure the guys that were like part of the Pony Express were like, hey, yo, trains are scary.
Yeah.
Right? Like I would much rather ride fast on a horse with the mail in a saddlebag than like put an absolute boatload of it onto a train and be done.
Yeah.
Right. And then all the train people are like, hey, these individual cars are like scary.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting.
So here's what I'll say.
Hmm.
If you are a fan of Jeff Booth and haven't read The Price of Tomorrow yet, then you should do so. It's kind of a rite of passage for any true Jeff Booth fan. And it's really nice to kind of tap into his optimistic, technology-forward view of the future.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't yet grasp that the true state of the free market is deflationary and that technology should be driving everything down to zero, but it isn't, you should also read the book because you'll be like, what?
Yeah.
Right? Other than that, I would recommend you stack some Satoshis every single week, $50 a week if you can. And just hang in there because if you ain't got time for that, then just stack some sats, keep watching this show.
Just think about your future self as you stack those sats.
Yeah.
If you can't go as far as Jeff Booth's future, you can go far enough for yourself.
Yeah. Like, I would still recommend people start with The Bitcoin Standard by Saifedean Ammous before moving on to The Price of Tomorrow.
I actually think Big Print was a good follow-up.
The big print, some people might actually want to start with the big print instead of the Bitcoin Standard because if you're an American, the big print helps you to learn about money in America through the lens of Larry Lepard, who kind of has experienced it himself through the generations. So you might even want to start with the big print if the Bitcoin Standard feels too like wide-reaching and economical and historical.
Yeah.
So, would you read Jeff Booth's The Price of Tomorrow?
I think so, actually.
For real?
Yeah, for real. For real. Yeah, I downloaded it already.
You downloaded it?
Yeah.
On Audible?
Shoot ya?
Shoot, yeah.
Shoot ya?
Yo.
Even after that really, really rough pale comment you made about me.
Well, in some societies, paleness is beautiful. So think about that.
We can think about that.
Right? If this were the shogunate era of Japan, you would have been like, thank you.
but we're not in that era.
If we were in the pre-Donatella Versace era, you'd be like, I appreciate that. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So if you enjoyed today's short stack where we reviewed Jeff Booth's The Price of Tomorrow, subscribe to Sat Chats. We are marching steadily toward becoming the world's biggest Bitcoin welcome center. But to do it, we need your help. You can find more ways to support or sponsor us in the show notes. Sat Chats is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice. You can also find a link to Jeff Booth's book in the show notes. You can buy it off of Amazon, and that'll shoot a couple of pennies our way, which we will dutifully convert into Satoshis.
Dutifully.
Also, if you enjoyed our conversation about Jeff Booth, you can click on this video here, which is our Sat Chats episode with Jeff Booth. And he goes beyond what he covers in The Price of Tomorrow to some gnarly revelations about how any amount of Bitcoin held over a sufficiently long period of time represents an infinite amount of the global economy. It is insane. I can't express to you enough how mind-blowing that episode was. So it's right here. Give it a click. See you tomorrow.